I was baptized on Norma's birthday, December the 8th, 2 days after my birthday. I remember how cold it was. I was baptized in a creek over on Grandpa Monroe's farm down in the pasture land. In the dressing room was a tobacco barn across the field from where the creek is. Changed clothes was in that tobacco barn.
How deep was it?
Deep enough, that's all I know.
Did your daddy baptize you?
I think so. I don't remember. I guess my membership record would tell who confirmed me, but I don't remember if he confirmed me as well or not. But I wasn't confirmed on the creek bank. I was confirmed at church. And I don't remember if the confirmation was done on the same day as the baptism or not. I graduated from Flat Rock High School in 1945, and I went to Appalachian State Teachers College for 1 year after I graduated. It was 1945-46. I took 1 quarter of Spanish language in my freshman year. I didn't learn much Spanish, but I did take 1 year of Spanish. My dad talked with the chairman of the draft board, and he had told my dad that I would be drafted into the Army as soon as I turned to be 19 years old. But I learned that the military GI Bill was going out of business before I would be drafted. And so I decided to volunteer while the GI Bill was still in force, so that by serving in the Army, I would get my college education paid for. So I volunteered, and they sent me over to Fort Knox, Kentucky for my basic training. And after I had completed my basic training, I was sent to Korea. I spent a little more than a year in Korea, at Busan, Korea. This was prior to the Korean War. It was peacetime when I was there. The interesting thing about it, when I had been in Korea about a week, they sent the soldiers who were drafted at the same time that I volunteered. The ones who were drafted were sent home. I was one homesick fellow then. Most of my military service was, I did quite a bit of train guard duty. And one of those trips I ended up in Seoul. I saw some of the North Korean soldiers, got a little bit uneasy about it, but nothing happened to cause me any concern. I learned a little bit of Korean, and I still remember early in the morning I would hear some of the Korean people singing. I called it their national anthem. I don't know what it was, but I learned that, and if you want me to sing what I remember, that's what I'll do. Adidong, adidong, anadio. Adidong, kokedo no maganda. That's all of Korean I learned. One of my duties in Korea, I became a cook's helper. So I worked in the military kitchen. That's where I learned my cooking skills. When I was serving as a cook's helper, I didn't have to go on train guard duty, and I didn't have to do a lot of marching and with the other foot soldiers. But Korea is a part of God's creation, and it's a beautiful, beautiful country. We did have a Sunday school. I can't remember a whole lot about it, but there was a couple there. I don't know if he was in the military or if they were on a mission there, but he served as if he were a branch president. I didn't know enough about church organization at that time to be able to report anything about that, other than that we had regular, mostly it was this Sunday school. I'm going to change the subject a little bit. On Sunday, November the 22nd, I was privileged to bestow a patriarchal blessing for Jess's daughter, Nicole. And in the process of getting a recommend from her state presidency, I was caused to reminisce about my own patriarchal blessing. And I happened to be in Salt Lake City. My memory is fuzzy about exactly when it was, but I looked up the patriarch because when my dad took our family to the temple back in 1936, my older brothers and my sister got their patriarchal blessing, but I didn't get mine then because I was kind of pouting for some reason. I don't remember what the problem was, but anyhow, I wasn't in the spirit of receiving a patriarchal blessing. So when I was in Salt Lake City, I looked up the patriarch, told him that I wanted to get my patriarchal blessing. He conducted an interview and gave me my blessing. The patriarch to the church, Eldred G. Smith, gave me my patriarchal blessing. On my birthday, December 6th, in the year 1948, I was privileged to go with my girlfriend to see the patriarch in her stake, and he permitted me to be present while he gave her your mother. Her patriarch was Amos M. Merrill. For her benefit and for mine, in her blessing, he told her how she would be able to recognize the one that the Lord would approve to be her husband. Told her what to look for in a husband. When I was a student at Brigham Young University, the year 1948-49, my dad corresponded with me suggesting that I consider serving a mission for the church, and indicated his willingness to pay for my mission costs. I talked to my sweetheart to see what she thought about that, because we were pretty thick by that time. She said to me that, well, my dad says that returned missionaries made the best husbands, so that clinched the deal. I wrote my dad and told him I'd be willing to go on a mission. My sweetheart agreed she'd wait for me to be a returned missionary. At that time, my dad was serving as counselor to President J. Robert Price, the mission president of the Central Atlantic States Mission. And the mission president received permission from the brethren in Salt Lake for me, along with some other missionaries who lived within the mission to, rather than going to Salt Lake City to the mission home, they would go to the mission office in Roanoke, Virginia, receive their instructions, information that they needed to be able to serve the mission. That's why I was called to serve in the Central Atlantic States Mission. I was released from my mission in July of 1951. And so I made the trek to Utah. We were married on August the 21st of 1951 in the Salt Lake Temple. Our sealing in the Salt Lake Temple took place around 10 o'clock at night on that date. One night I told her that she was the most precious thing in the world to me. I said, forgive me for using the word thing. She's more than just a thing. But I referred to her as being the most precious thing in my life. I didn't know another word to use, so I had to apologize for using thing. I just thinking about the experience that Mama and I had following the loss of our infant son, Floyd Avery Hiatt, who died during the birthing process. Dr. Robertson was the family doctor. He had to call on help from a surgeon when he got into difficulty of making that delivery. Dr. Ben Lawrence told me following that incident that he had to make a choice to save the baby or the mother. And since we had 7 children at the time, he made the decision that I would prefer that he save the mother. But following that experience, our family doctor advised us that we should not try to have any more children, and he recommended that we take measures to prevent any further births. We thanked him for his concern, but told him that in the future we might decide that we wanted to have more children. And after that, Mama gave birth to Jesse, Jennifer, Derek, Ethel, Janine. And I have said on many occasions that we had never thought to send either one of them back. We welcomed all 4 of them. And we've always been grateful that we made that decision and that we were blessed in those additional 4 children. I'm grateful for the experiences that we have had in our family. Mama has always been a strong, faithful wife and mother. I appreciate more than words can express the love that we share that binds us together as husband and wife, as father and mother. I rejoice in the family, a proclamation to the world. On a number of occasions I have said that I hope to one day be able to raise my arm to the square, accepting that document to join with other modern day scripture. I feel that it is indeed an inspired declaration